Welcome to Montrose Makerspace today. It's February 12th, 2015. I started out the morning by meeting the Montrose City IT department as well as the GIS guys. About 7 people came over to the Makerspace around 10 o'clock. We talked about the gigabit fiber installation and we gave them a tour of the Makerspace and kind of talked a little bit about what we want to do for the voice over IP phones. The deployment within the Makerspace. They're going to put a managed switch in our closet, and so we located where we're going to put that switch, and we talked about where the termination of the fiber is going to happen, and that lasted about an hour and a half. The guys there were very excited about the Makerspace. They hadn't been over there on a tour yet. They kind of heard about it, but they were really excited about the tools that were there. So after that, I went to lunch with Kern. We talked about various aspects of getting organized for this board meeting we're having on Monday, as well as some other aspects of some entrepreneur projects that are starting, and we're going to launch one of them almost immediately and go through the entire development process. It's a hardware-software combination project. So we discussed the details of that and how we're going to proceed on that. So after that, I went over to the city hall, and I met with Virgil, and I signed the MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding. That's a relationship. It's a formalized relationship between the Makerspace and the city of Montrose, informing our partnership and how that's initially going to get started. So that's going to enable us to, turn on the fiber, get the phones, get the computer systems set up for our CAD workstations, as well as the equipment lease that's going to go on over there at the Makerspace. After that, I came back, and yesterday we talked about, or the last Montrose Makerspace today, I showed you a tube tester that I bought in Los Alamos. So I figured I'm going to make this a little more interesting, these Makerspace Today things. So I have a lot of equipment that I purchased down there that I want to incorporate into the Makerspace on the electronics side. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of that equipment that I purchased down there. Some of it's going to be part of my personal antique collection, and other parts will be incorporated into the inventory over there. So if you go look, like here's... I recorded a couple of videos for my personal blog called Picture of the Day, and you can see those down below. I did put those on our Makerspace YouTube channel. And this is one of the devices here. This is a Weston power meter. I've never seen anything like this. You can go look about how I actually use this thing and how I plan on using this in the future. This thing is probably vintage 1960s, something like that. It's very, very useful in terms of if you want to measure power output, which is what I want to do for audio amplifiers. But I found a bunch of stuff down there that I want to incorporate in. Like here's a box of wire markers. So these are they're basic stickers that you would put on wiring harnesses, and so you can see, match up the pairs of wires in a wire harness. And so I bought a box of these down there. The other thing I have over here is, I'll show you what this is. This is it's called a heliopod. Let me zoom in here and kind of set the focus on this guy. Okay, so this is a 10-turn potentiometer at 1K ohms, and so I ended up buying a bunch of these. These are real handy to do tuning, or if you want to do some kind of voltage control for your microprocessor, volume control. This wouldn't work very well for volume control because it's 10 turns. But this is a really a high quality potentiometer that I ended up buying down there when I was there. And they have, there's a guy who had a box of these, and I picked out, these were actually sitting outside. I went through, and they were under a tarp outside at this sale, and I went through and found the ones that turned and picked them out. So I have about 12 of these over here. So I'll keep a couple around for my own use, but then I'll put the rest in the inventory at the Makerspace. If you go down and scroll down, there's another blog post for, let me see if I can show you this. These things up here, if you look, see if I can do this. If you look right here, I have these two HP 428 milliamp meters. I'm going to use those for tube design. So if you can go down and look at how I actually turned those guys on today, this afternoon, and they powered up fine. They probably hasn't been running in probably middle of 70s, 35 years they haven't run. Clicked them on, worked right off the bat, no problems with those. And so there's a lot of vintage gear that I've been buying, and I'll kind of make these Makerspace a little bit more interesting for people that want to just look and see what other things I'm involved in at the Makerspace. So that's it for today. It's February 12th, 2015.